Okay, cool. We should be in action. We should be good. Hopefully everything is moving, and I'm gonna monitor this from my badge. I'm gonna monitor this from my badge. I'm gonna monitor this from. That's so great. So I love it. All right. So, for those who may be seeing this for the first time, and you may not know who I am, especially um when it comes out. My name is Marcel Griffin. I go by Marcel Griffin. I'm known as the Wealth Mentor, and this is what I do. I am the CEO and founder of Griffin Speaks LLC. We do financial literacy, we do business, and one of the things that I'm so much passionate about is the history aspect of just learning about the capability of the wealth that is unseen. You know what I'm saying? That one of my missions is to create a new generation of wealthy mentees and to change the direction of my community because I come from a poverty-stricken community. Like I literally was like one of the broke friends before I realized I was a broke friend, waiting on the first of the month. Um, man, waiting on EBT. Had EBT on my own. Uh, finding ways to microwave water. Like it was really like that when I grew up. And as I got older and I found some type of financial stability, one of the things I found in my prime ages was the stock market. It was a vehicle to create wealth. And there are so many others, of which is why I go by the wealth mentor and not just like a stock market mentor, because I just discovered this world of how to get to the bag, right? I discovered this world of beyond having to stand on the corner. Like there was so much more to it. But I digress. We're gonna get into this. So this is stock market investing for beginners. This is a 1 hour workshop. So we're going to be here until about 3, a little maybe after 3. But here's what you'll get, right? It's a comprehension introduction to the market, conveying like key concepts. So like you'll hear about options, you'll hear about futures, you'll hear about um, the foundation and groundbreaking things to get into that, right? Investing 101, like a lot of people confuse trading with investing. I actually do both. I specifically go by, if you go on my business page at Griffin Speaks LLC or griffinspeaks.com, I go by an investor. Yes, I do trade. I can trade. I have trade. And I'll talk about that maybe a little bit towards the end. And you'll see some live trades in here of trades I've done on my own. But practical guidance for like everyday investors, right? So let's get to it. All right. So understanding the stock market, right? That's what that says. It's understanding the stock market. And let me see how do you this. Oh, no. All right, let's do that. Going back. Okay, yeah. But understanding the okay, there we go. It's better. Understanding the stock market. The definition purpose, the stock market is where investors buy and sell shares of publicly traded companies, allowing businesses to raise capital and investors to potentially grow their wealth, right? That's the overall basis, right? Key players or the people like us are the investors, individuals or institutions, brokers, and exchanges like NYE, NYSE, and the NASDAQ are like the main participants. You have the Nasdaq, S&P, you have the Dow, right? And then how stocks work, right? Stocks are representations of ownership in a company. Stock prices fluctuate based on factors like supply and demand, company earnings, and the overall stock market trends. Those are actually probably the three key factors. If you were to walk up to anybody and explain to them like what is the market and how does it work. So we'll stay right here for a few seconds. Supply and demand. I'll use one of our favorite companies because this is the first one that comes to mind. And a lot of people have iPhones. I'll just go with Apple, especially on the supply and demand part and for the current time we in. So, is an iPhone in a high demand? No. Do they have a lot of supply of it? Yes. Are they trying to be innovative so there can be a higher demand so they can sell more iPhones? Yes, of course, Apple is. Now, the way that earnings come into factor when the company earnings, let's say they came out with a brand new iPhone this smacking, right? For the younger generation that got all the bells and whistles. I'm talking about that pull up a 3D screen out your phone. You you almost might not even need a laptop at this point. The iPhone is so cold. Let's say they did that. Everybody and their family will want to go and grab an iPhone for sure. Like with probably with the most haste. And what would happen is if by the end of August they have to report all the money that they made, now we're talking about company earnings, they may have a positive growth. So from that, their stock will go up. So let's say I'll do this live for you, like right now. Even though the market's closed because this is a Sunday, this will be a projected number 230. Well, who knew? How about that? After hours, Apple went deluxe. But it's at 230 right now, right? So let's say it was the end of August. They had an amazing month. Earnings came up at the end of August. It could get up to 235, 240, right? Those type of swings. And while it's swinging up between Monday through Friday, that's what you call a market trend. And the overall market trend is when you hear on CNN, the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, everything's up. Green all day, right? It's lovely. But that is basically how you understand the fundamental aspects of the stock market, include definitions, purpose, key points, and how the stock market functions, right? Investors can begin to navigate the worldwide market of investing. This is very, very true. So let's get to it. Ooh. All right, here we go. So 4 ways to invest. So there are 4 ways to invest, right? There's long-term investing, which is wealth building, which is my favorite. This is why I go by the Wealth Mentor. It focuses on growth stocks, value stocks, dividends, using index funds, ETFs, mutual funds for diversification or concentration. I have moved from diversification to concentration and leverage the power of compounding or compound interest. If you ever hear about compound interest, that's where they talk about, my money grew while I sleep. Growth stocks. A number one growth stock that everybody's talking about right now, just to put you on, is called NVIDIA. A value stock that I would consider a value stock right now, because it's not going to go anywhere, would either be Google. Google, because it owns YouTube, right? YouTube in the streaming sense, everybody's using YouTube. It's not going anywhere, in my opinion. ETFs, an ETF I did own or do own is VOO, which is part of the S&P 500. Mutual funds I do not directly deal with. Mutual funds that's more of a company base. It's more of like your retirement funds that are managed by people and big hedge funds and so forth and so on. Now, that's one way to invest, which is long term. Short-term trading is another. These are quick profits. These are swing trades and day trades based on market trends using technical analysis, charts, indicators, managing risk, and maintaining trading discipline. So I'm going to walk you through that, and I'll show you some trades I took that would be, I swing trade. So do not day trade. I swing trade and I do long-term investing. But I do it in an option trade fashion. So that's a little different. but short-term trading. So swing trading is technically anything that you hold over a day. But usually most people would say that if you swing trading, you're trading probably from anywhere from 2 weeks, maybe a week at the shortest, a week to 30 days to maybe like 3 months, right? That's a relatively swing all the way to like a leap. A leap is a trade that you have out up to a year or longer, right? Now, options. Everybody loves to talk about options, but not everybody really knows how to trade options, right? Now, options trading is leveraging a strategy, understanding calls, which is buying rights, and puts, which is selling rights, right? Now, exploring the basic strategies of a covered call, protected puts, weighted potential rewards against high risk, these type of things. And then you have futures trading, which is speculation, heading, learning future contracts, commodities, indices, and crypto, managing, leveraging risk. Futures is not a new concept. It is becoming a new wave. A lot of people are still doing options. I am practicing futures, but I am an options trader. I do short-term trading. I am a swing trader, and I am an overall investor. So for sure, those three ways I've pretty much gone down the rabbit hole of investing and added to my repertoire, which is futures and the concept of futures. Because for me to truly build wealth, which is what we're here to do in this class, you need to understand what that is and what that's like. All right, so stock charts and trading, right? So because it's Sunday, I can't actually do what you call like a right there on the spot live trade with you, but I can show you the live and recorded trades that I actually took, right? That hit either that day or that week. Okay. Now, you're gonna see a few things, and what I probably will pull up for you is my Ninja Trader to show you about like what tools I use, even my Robinhood. So I'll probably pull up my Robinhood for you. Oh, I can do that. Oh, my bad, y'all. I was distracted with some stuff. But yeah, so you can. All right, let's get to it. But you can use platforms like Yahoo Finance, TradingView, Robinhood, and Fidelity for these type of opportunities to do the trading. Now, these are live trading examples that I'm going to walk you through. XLV is actually an ETF. All right, so this call was last month. This is June. This is out till June. The break-even price for this call was 129. This is the position. That is the current value. That was the cost of the play. So this is pretty much $1,000 play, right? Now, I'm going to show you two different ones. I use these for example of people who want to play with more money or people who are starting out with a 9 to 5, right? So people who are playing with $1,000 or more dollars, $1,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 trading, or if you just playing with 100 to maybe like 500, if you got a part-time job or whatever it is very much possible for either way that you start out. You can make some money, you can make a profit, and so forth and so on. All right, so let's play this really quickly. So I'll put this trade in. The call was to go out to June. The platform I'm actually using is Public. That's another platform. So from the time that I put this in, it went up to 129 $129. And hold on. So I want to go. So remember what I told you. The break-even price was $129 automatically. So it's what you call in the money. So you rewatch this again, I've automatically am in the money. I'm automatically in a profit on that day, and I've made over $100, right, in a day. And that happened with it, I want to say 30 minutes to maybe an hour. So most people, most average people, 9 to 5ers, they do what? They make what? You make $100 a day, right? You get paid anywhere between 10 to maybe $15, depending on what company you work for. That's how much you make, right? In an 8-hour shift, you make anywhere from 80 to maybe 120 at the end of the day. I've made $115 in an hour trading, right? So that was an example, right? And that's high betting. Now, here's what you can do. Let me see which one this is. So this one is this is Apple. Okay, so this was an Apple put. I did this back in April. The Apple put was for 190. The Apple put was for 190. And this is that day. I instantly am making money when the market opens. I only spent maybe like $150 to $200 on this play for Apple, and I am literally watching it. This is live at the time. I'm making money hand over fist, and I went from 1 200 to like 130 overall, like literally. So this is an example of high level plays. This is an example of low level plays. What you can do with $1,000 to $5,000, and what you can do with 100 to like 250. Right? Wait. Okay. So next, building a personalized investment plan. Right. So I am very big on this for our generation, especially for my community and our people. Black people, I don't think that we realize how each decision we plan out will affect our family. And I think that no shame to our parents for those who are millennials and your parents are like 60, 65 and up at this point. Our parents were taught to become stable and get security. I don't think that they were taught wealth and how to really make an investment plan as a majority. So my goal is to change that generational directive and start talking to the generation that comes after me about like investment plans and just how to do portfolios and stuff like that. So when you're building a personalized investment plan, know your risk tolerance, right? Determine if you are a conservative person, if you are a moderate person, if you are an aggressive investor. All these things 100% matter. If I am a conservative, I'm more laid back. I'm like, hey, I want a safety net when I invest, right? If you are moderate, you are willing to go at it, but you don't want to lose your house, your boat in it. And if you are an aggressive investor, you're trying to get 2, 3 houses off the house that you just own, right? But it's all based on what your financial goals is. So whenever I tell anybody if they're doing anything about money, I always ask them, what is the goal that you are setting? Don't tell me that you're just saving, because there's going to always be a time and a place where something's going to come up, and and you're going to convince yourself that that's what you need the money for, versus you saying, no, I've saved, or I need this money particularly for a new car, down payment on my house, and so forth and so on, right? Okay. But yes, so what are your financial goals, right? The time horizon and your ability to withstand market fluctuations. So basically, like if you taking an L, what is your ability to be like, all right, I'm finna toughen this out. I done lost round one, but I'm gonna come back in round two. You feel me? Like I'm Muhammad Ali and I'm gonna get to it, right? That's what they mean when they say, can you withstand market fluctuations, right? All right, so portfolio strategies, right? This is a classic rule applying the 80-20 rule, which is allocating 80% of your portfolio to diversity index funds. So like the S&Ps, for everybody who works in either government or have retirement funds, there's a C fund, there's a few other funds to where like you can own the top 10 American stocks. So Microsoft, NVIDIA, TSM, top 10, top 20, top 50s, right? And they tell you do that versus and 20% in individual stocks because they want you to create a moat. When you become more advanced and you become more strategic, you can decide if you want to be more concentrated, right? Because um, when you see the crystal ball, you know what I'm saying? When God's open your eyes, you kind of just know what it is. All right, so staying disciplined, that is number one. These things happen all the time because life be lifing when it comes to just like things that bills come up, car breakdown, family emergencies. But you have to stay disciplined, right? Manage your emotions and avoid making impulse decisions. Sticking to long-term investing plans. Please stick to the game plan if you want to be wealthy. I am not here to be a guru one night flip flop for you, right? I'm not here to do get rich quick scheme. I'm here to create wealthy mentees, and I want to create wealthy families, especially the families who look like my family, even during periods of market volatility, right? So one of the number one things that I don't think a lot of people talk about that our generation as millennials got the chance to live through was, bro, we got a chance to see a market crash. I have like four key reflections in my life um, based upon like cultural financial habits versus what I've actually learned as an investor. Now, review and rebalance, right? Regularly review your portfolio, rebalance if needed to maintain your target asset allocation. This helps to ensure your investment remains aligned with your risk tolerance and financial goals. So, all that saying is check up on your bank account, check up on your balance sheet pretty much every first of the month, just like you do your bills. And what we're saying is when they talk about rebalancing and reallocating your target assets, if I own 10 stocks and 100 shares a piece, let's just do 5. If I own NVIDIA, TSM, Microsoft, Apple, and Google. And yes, I know that for those who are advanced, that's all tech. Stay with me, guys. But if I owned those 5 as my investment plan and Apple is being the least progressive, it's not making me the most money, and I have equal holdings, I have 100 shares in each of these companies, just as a hypothetical, I am going to look at what are the other assets I have. NVIDIA is doing better. TSM is doing better. They've created new partnerships. They maybe even created new partnerships with Google, which is the other entity that I own. So now, while they're still in profit, right? I haven't taken a loss. It's just they aren't moving in the same time span. I ain't making as much money off Apple as I am off the other ones that's in my portfolio. Let's get to it. So with that being said, I would keep 30, right? If I had 100 shares, I keep 30, maybe 40. Me, I'd probably say 40. I keep 40 shares, allocate, or I pull out, right? So I pull out the 60 shares, whatever that would amount to. If we were talking what Apple is right now, literally Apple is 230 overnight. Remember, guys, this is aired on a Sunday, so this is not the current market value. So this is overnight for August 10th. They're at 230. So 230 times 60 means that now out of the 100 shares, right? So 230 times 60, I have $13,800, right? to put into a new set of portfolio. All right, cool. So let's get to it. How am I going to spend that $13,800? I'm going to say, with the stocks that I have, remember, in this scenario, I have uh, Apple, Google, TSM, Microsoft, NVIDIA. If I am a current investor at this time, I'm going to choose Microsoft and NVIDIA. Why? Because they are the front movers for innovation at this time. And then that's what reallocation and risk tolerance. And remember, my financial goal is such and such. Seeking professional guidance. Okay, so let me say this, because I did not say this at the beginning of my workshop. I am not a financial advisor. I am a wealth mentor, right? So legally, I cannot give you advice on how to invest. This is just the strategies and the way that I've seen the market and how I believe I can voice an opinion that truly leads my community to wealth, right? But always seek financial help from someone. Consider working with a financial advisor who can help you develop a comprehensive investment strategy and provide ongoing support. So everything that you see in my workshop in this PowerPoint is strictly based upon my opinion and things that I've done that's come successful, like when I did the trading for you. All right, so let's talk about it. The next steps that are in your life. What is that? What are the actions that you're going to take, right? When my moniker is just saying that are you really going to get to a bag in 2025? Are you really going to get to a bag? Are you going to make the decision from 2025 to 2030? What do I mean when I say bag, right? So my goal here, right? My goal, my task, my purpose is to help you build wealth. Number one, help you carve out the actions that you need, that you must take. Because I can only do so much. You still got to get out here and do it. All right. And then lastly, once we say, okay, yes, Marcel, I want to build wealth. Can you help me do that? How are we going to walk through that? Cool, I got you. If it's the market, I'll point you one direction. If it's real estate, I'll point you another direction. If it's entrepreneurship, I'll point you another direction. But we have to say that we want to build wealth. Now we're going to build out a what? An action plan. I grew up in an era where, hey, bro, if you was only talking about it and you wasn't living it or you wasn't putting in no action, we didn't believe nothing you was doing. If we didn't see it, if it didn't manifest, we called it, as the new age people call it, we called it cap. We did. We said that you was flogging. We just didn't believe what it was that you were bringing to the table, right? You were selling a lot of wolf tickets. Okay. So with that being said, what actions are you going to take, right? Where is that going to come from? How are you going to start? What does that journey lead? And then lastly, as you do that, have goals from then on out. If you said that, if you decided on Monday, right, which is tomorrow, you decided on Monday, Marcel, I'm going to build wealth. Okay. Marcel, I'll build out my action plan. I said, okay. By Friday, what's the first goal that you plan on achieving? Let me know as we walk down. Like, let me know. What's the goal? What's the long-term goal? What's the short-term goal? What's the goal for you, your family, your moms, your daughter? You know, what's the goal? You need a goal, otherwise you're doing a lot of this work blind. You're doing it blind. All right, so resources is our track. So resources, books. Ooh, I do have some books here. Which one? Okay, these two. All right, so I do not get paid for these references. I do not have an affiliate. I just rock with these people. All right. So resources as far as books. We're gonna put this up. This is Powernomics. Okay, this is by Dr. Claude Anderson. This is a national plan to empower Black America. And then for new generation, You Deserve to Be Rich by Earn Your Leisure, written by Rashad Bilal and Troy Mullins. Master the inner game plan of wealth and reclaim your future. We all have the same goal, right? So to me, it doesn't matter if you listen to Ross Mack. Doesn't, and shout out to the Maconomics team. It don't matter if you listen to the Trapper. Shout out to Wall Street Trapper. Wall Street Trapper, and I will say this publicly right now. That is how I started. I come from a place where we wasn't talking about nothing but the corner. We weren't talking about nothing but flipping dime bags, which is why when I say I want to help the next generation, because I don't want them to repeat our mistakes, right? But when I learned everything that, bro, the immense lanes of wealth creation, there's no way in the world you would convince me, based on risk to reward, to choose the corner over all the stuff that I've learned, that I've seen actually happen for myself in this industry, in this lane I'm in now. So with that being said, online courses. I do online courses like this, trading tools. So when you say trading tools, Robinhood, Fidelity, Public, Webull, they all have tools you can use from furthering and learning your skill development. Now, the brokerage account options, right? So like I said before, you can use platforms like Robinhood, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, as with their trading tools, but these are actual brokerage platforms. I use Fidelity personally for my long-term investing. That is literally how I started. I went from having maybe 20 to 30 stocks, I mean, a number of name brand stocks, to having like 5 stocks in my portfolio. That is when you go from diversity to concentration. But I've had the same, what do you call this? Wealth sustainability, right? So the equivalent amount of compound interest, making money while I sleep, happened with the 20 stocks that I had, and a similar to same amount of time frame with the 5 stocks I've had. But it's because of the sector that I've concentrated into. And you have to look into where is the world going, where is America going, or whatever country is your homeland, like where is Africa going, where is Asia going, where is Europe going, so where are my people, where's the world focusing the next innovation in wealth and economics, right? Where are we going? And then practice first, right? Once you get all this, use paper trading. Don't come out here just because you've seen me show you that, yeah, I can make $100 out of $100, 250, trade $1,000 and I've made $1,000, or I've made $40 and turned it into 1,500. Like, yes, this happened. Yes, I've done this on my own independently. But practice, practice, practice. I practice futures because I need to understand what is the different dynamics of trading the entire ES, the entire ZB, the entire NASDAQ versus trading Apple the stock. What's the difference? Trading NVIDIA the stock. What's the difference from futures? So I practice first. And then you gain experience, right? And then when you gain enough experience, you still got to get out there. You have to jump, right? My most how do I put this? My most impactful lesson was when I actually jumped and used real money, right? So when you saw in the live demos, that was real money, that was really money that I made or made investments real time. Key reminders as we go, because we're gonna wrap up here. Start small. It's okay to start small. It's all right to take risks, but like I said, talk to your financial advisor, wherever that is. But it's all right to start small. Invest consistently and keep learning how to build your investments. Especially for those, I'm going to say this, for those who work in stable jobs that have 401ks, that have TSPs, don't go off of, oh, we're going to put your money in there, we're going to match you and leave it in this fund. I mean, I'll say this, I slept on at least $50,000 because I did not move money that was allocated to me through my TSP from my former job. I can honestly say that. And I realized that because it was also during the period of the market crash. I would probably have at least six figures or more on the back end to pull from versus how much I do have. Right. But these are the reflections that you learn as an investor, as a person, once you get focused on building wealth. I'm telling you this from experience, but I'm also telling you I've had an amazing journey seeing the possibilities out of what I was risking my life for. I tried to do all the rich get rich quick schemes on the corner in the hood on the block. Did not work out. I seen a lot of my friends chasing that, get locked up, have warrants. It didn't work out for a lot of us. I am lucky to this day to be here to tell you this. This is very, very true. So when I say that I wholeheartedly believe that these are the avenues that you need to take, and the market is just one of them, listen, man. All right. So remember, stock market journey is a long life learning process. Embrace the opportunity, bro. Take the chance. Go to InvestFest if you can. Get a virtual ticket if you can. Whenever Troy, Ian, Rashad, Matt, like whenever they pull up to your town, bro, because they for 5 years they was doing a lot of pull ups, a lot of free events. They were doing Market Mondays tour to give you a lot of jewels to implement these things at a high level, and they look like you. We show you that it's possible. You, we're at a point in our age to where we've seen everything my mom, and my grandparents, for majority of their lives, did not believe were going to exist. As a millennial, it's 30, right? I'm 30 now. I'll be 30 in December. But I seen a black man become president twice, got reelected at a time where I was old enough to, I used to say that, no, that's not going to happen. Because they had the concept of they would never let someone who looks like me become president. We've seen that happen. We've seen the influx of black wealth change. We've seen a lot of black billionaires. We've seen the influx of what we thought was never possible for a lot of our neighborhoods, for a lot of inner cities, become possible. Embrace the opportunity. Grow from your investing knowledge. Take the first steps toward building long-term wealth. That is the number one thing, bro. Take the step. Okay, so if nobody has any questions as we close up, you can always email me at info@griffithspeaks.com if you want to book me for any of these sessions, consultations, schools. Hey, if you want to implement course curriculums around this, I do this. I do professional development, how to build a $1 million network through conversation, right? So it'd be like, bro, I love what you're talking about. I love what you're doing. Innovations, that first impression, all that came from a conversation. So I will definitely walk you through how to build a $1 million network through communication. Yeah. All right. So we're going to close up. Like I said, you weren't going to be here too long. Class is going to be up to an hour. And that's what we covered. So what you should have learned from today, should have gathered, is basically what the stock market is, 101. The key concepts, practical guidance for investors, understanding the purpose and mechanics of the stock market, the four primary ways of investing, well-rounded world of investing, and just the importance of overall changing the way that you're spending your money, man. Um, you're gonna make more money than when you smoking up your money. Youngins, please give new things opportunity and holler at me if you want to learn how to make some money. But I say that all the time. All right. Uh, let's do this. Stop sharing.